Elias here from BulbaCards. So today we are going to be discussing the origin story of BulbaCards. So best way I can put it. How did BulbaCards start? What is our goal? And then from here, where we'd like to move forward is by teaching you guys and giving you a little step-by-step on how BulbaCards became and how we got our business going, and maybe be able to help some of you other people get your business going. I know what you guys are thinking. EJ, there's tons of videos out there already. You got Danny Phantom doing his videos. You have Cardinal Gaming doing theirs. And yes, those are fantastic sources. I recommend checking them out now, right? I might even put them in the description down below. However, I feel we can offer a very unique perspective, okay? We opened our store in the middle of the craziness, okay? Like smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, smack dab in the middle of distributors not taking any more people. Literally, we were the last store Southern Hobby took before they closed off new applications for Pokemon, okay? So we were so deep into it, we literally did not get any pre-ordered items for nearly 3 to 4 months because it was so hard just to get our allocation numbers up to anything, right? We got 0 for several months. We had to sell like those theme decks forever, right? Just to get one item, okay? We sold thousands of dollars worth of stuff just to get one booster box of, I believe it's Chilling Rain. So I was super excited about that too. So what we're gonna start with is how I opened BulbaCards in the sense of what led to it, what we did to open it, and then this will also begin a video series of diaries of step-by-step things we did or situations we ran into and how we got over them, okay? And then eventually we'll catch up to modern times and just give you a day-to-day on what's going on with the business and the things we are doing to overcome certain hurdles so you guys can maybe overcome those same hurdles. It's also just so you guys know what's going on with the company, where we would like to go as a company, so we can better serve you guys, right? Because this isn't just my shop, this is all your guys' shop, right? We're the Bulba family. We're gonna be starting that new thing, right? We're actually launching a updated website, and there's gonna be a bunch of new things coming, and Bulba family is gonna be one of the new things to be looking out for. So, BulbaCards, where did it start? Where it started for me, right? My name is Elias Everett. My friends call me EJ. Before I did this, which is very important on how BulbaCards started, which I'll tell you about here in just a second. It's very unique story. I wasn't planning on selling cards for a living. I literally, opportunity came before me and I fell into it, okay? So what did I do before this? So before this, I was actually a jiu-jitsu and MMA instructor, okay? So before that, I fought for a living, okay? I did MMA for a living. So with the jiu-jitsu and MMA, I ran an academy called I ran an academy called IQ Jiu-Jitsu, okay? We taught MMA as well as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That was our main focus. I'm a 2-stripe brown belt under Jared Jessup and Hoist Gracie, right? We're under the Gracie system. I did that for 12 years. So pretty much my whole life, adult life anyways. I worked that full time for probably about 10 years. Now, why is that important? What I did was run the bully awareness and character development program for kids. My passion is to help kids have a better life, okay? What led me to teaching jiu-jitsu is, I don't want to say I had a bad childhood, because it wasn't. It was a beautiful, amazing childhood. But some things happened which took me down a very bad path. Not drugs, stuff like that. Probably something worse. I actually wrote a book about it. It's not over here. I might actually put that in the description below. I guess we're sponsored by today's sponsor, Monsters Can't Love, written by Elias Everett, right? So I'll put that in the description below, so if anyone wants to check it out and read it, I literally wrote an entire book on it. It's written as a narrative nonfiction, so it's more to entertain than like a biography. So it's not like I did this, I did that. It's actually written like a normal story. But I ran into some situations that weren't my fault, that just that happened, and I was forced to face. And I chose the worst possible choices. I chose hate. I chose revenge. I chose a very dark path I went down for most of my life. I'm talking about young childhood till about 20. I wasn't going good places. Literally, the name of the book is Monsters Can't Love, because I considered myself a monster. I felt like a monster, and that's why I identified as. And I wasn't going anywhere good. To me, what I discovered was basically I was just a lost, sad child who never learned how to grow up, right? That's where my hate came from. Long stuff, okay? Guys, check out the book if you'd like, or as we go on in the channel, talk about it more. Well, one day, someone reached out to me, which was Jared Jessup, my jiu-jitsu instructor, and he gave me exactly what I needed in that moment in life. He gave me someone who believed in me, not in a, oh, you got this, but he really did some things that shook my belief foundation. It made me realize there are fantastic people in this world. Their ideology can make this world a much better place. So my goal in life became pushing his idea and his dream to become a reality, because I felt the world would be a better place because of it. Through that journey, I became part of that, and then that became my dream, and I began improving people's lives. And jiu-jitsu and MMA teaching became my tool and my vehicle to change those lives. Then COVID hit. That's where the story is going, okay? Before COVID, I had a few students who bought me, I believe it's the X and Y Evolutions booster packs as a birthday present. They heard me talking about Pokemon one day, and they really liked it. I thought it was real cool, and it kind of got me back into the Pokemon stuff. So I took those packs, ended up playing online on the online game, and I kind of enjoyed it. I don't, not kind of enjoy it, I really enjoyed it. And it kind of got me slightly back into collecting, but then I kind of fell off and paid attention to it. Like, all day, every day was jiu-jitsu to me, okay? All day. So it was a very successful business. IQ's still going. I'm not part of it now because I moved to North Carolina. Now, this is my full-time job. Again, wasn't planning on it, fell into it. So during that time, so I had these students who got me these packs, started liking it. I started talking about these cards with my students, right? These kids were 8, 9 years old, and they just kept telling me about how hard product was to get, okay? I just remember them complaining about it a lot. And then that's when COVID hit, okay? We were the first store to, not store, we were one of the first industries to get shut down. Because at that time, they're like, COVID, we don't know what's going on. You're gonna be this close to people's faces. You're spreading stuff. Close you down, right? So what I worked for the last 12 years was taken from me, okay? At the time, it was world ending because they were basically saying in the news that, well, not just the news, but politicians, like, gyms may never open. And it's like, oh God, what am I gonna do, right? So during that time, I ended up moving in with my now wife, just in case, because we don't know if it was gonna last a month or it was gonna last years. And I just wanted to play it safe and get ahead. I'm very conservative with my gambles, which is weird because I'm actually a big risk taker as well. So like I like to do as much as I can to pre-prep beforehand if I can, and then make sure I take out every possible risk there is and be prepared for any possible outcome. And then I take a risk, okay? So that's kind of how I've always been. So I moved in with my wife at that time, and then Jared ended up talking with the health department, lawyers, and then they basically were like, oh, get the health department to come in, do investigations, and then you can open back up, and they try and close you down in a week. Then you can say, hey, you passed us a week ago, what's the difference? And then you have some legal ability to stay open. So that's what we did. So we opened up relatively quickly, within a few weeks. At first, we were doing only online sessions. So we weren't doing group classes, we were doing like literally video chats and just going through the motions, letting parents practice with kids, as well as only one-on-one lessons. This way we could be distance, the people there knew the risks, and they could come in just with the kids isolated by themselves. So that's the way we handled it. With the online classes, half of what we did was teach them jujitsu, but that was just the tool to give them life lessons. For instance, like responsibility, citizenship, right? How do you give to your community? How to care. Tough subjects as well, like loss, anger, how to deal with those. So basically like an all aspect, like everything you can possibly think of that we use in life, thoughts. It was very like, I don't want to say childlike because it wasn't childlike. We treat them like adults. But basically any type of reasons we do things, think of it like life coaching, but it's not like a positive, here we go, it's very reality based. Oh God, it's just so hard to describe without, just literally teaching the lessons. A good example is we're doing a Pokemon video soon on what is a Pokemon, and in it we're gonna be talking about how Pokemon contribute to society, and that's part of citizenship, which citizenship are responsibilities you have as a citizen to your community. Because if you want to live in a good community, that you need to do these things to better improve it. Because community comes from the word commune, which means to give, right? So we all give to create this thing that's better than a single individual, so we can all have more, okay? So a lot of our lessons were based off that, so we still ran things online. But the kids who did come in do one-on-one lessons, I was actually doing a lesson with one, Danner. No, it wasn't Danner, someone else. But then the parent started talking to me about how even harder Pokemon product became to get a hold of. And they were telling me that they were at Walmart and literally a group of adults rushed the shelf while they were waiting for the guy to get done loading and literally just shoved their kid down, right? 8-year-old kid just knocked him down, like, what's up? And I was like, that's crazy, what's going on? And then they said, well, it's been so hard to get stuff, and if you go online, everything's like 3 times the price of what it should be. I'm like, no way. And I looked, I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. And then, they're just like, yeah. And I'm like, that's really messed up. Someone should do something about it. Literally, this is how I became Bulba of BulbaCards. Was the kid looked at me and goes, well, why don't you do something about it? I looked at him and was like, you keep talking smack, I will. Right? And I took him down and choked him. Really what happened, I choked him, he tapped. That was the lesson. It was rear naked choke day. But what he said, thought about me, I wanted to look into it, and then that's when I ran across Danny Phantom's video on how to open a store, how to get signed up with a distributor. So I was like, you know what? I can get signed up with a distributor and supply my students with product. So that's how I started. I signed up with Southern Hobby. Again, I was one of the last ones. I was the last one to get signed up before they closed accounts, closed any new accounts. Not closed existing accounts, but stopped taking accounts. So then I started supplying just these few students with product. And then when we closed down again because COVID was getting worse and we wanted to take safety precautions, that's when I started selling online on like TCG Player, eBay, because I was like, okay, we don't know if we're gonna open back up. At the time, my wife was finishing up her post-grad, so she had already got her PhD and she's working on her post-doctorate. And we knew she'd be getting a job soon, and would end up having to go anywhere in the country wherever she got a job. She's from Brazil, and at the time she was on a student visa, so wherever she got a job, she had to go. Otherwise, she had to go back to Brazil. So I was prepared. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be moving any day now. Once she gets a job, what am I gonna do, right? Because I can't just go open a gym right away, because that costs a lot of money up front. So I was like, you know what? I'll start building money up through the cards. Everything I make, I will put back into inventory. This way, once it becomes time and I have enough saved up, I can just sell all my inventory and open a new gym. Okay, that was the plan. So we started just expanding as much as we could, as fast as we could. This is where the MSRP came from. It was, okay, we want to sell as much as we can, as fast as we can, because I don't care about making a profit. I want to just get bigger. At the same time, the whole reason I started it is because I couldn't stand seeing scalping, okay? I understand there's differences in market. There's differences in, something being worth something. Scalping is the specific act of grabbing something off the shelf with no intention of actually wanting it, turning to the person behind you who wanted it and going, here, double the price. This is why selling concert tickets at a concert is illegal, is because literally if you weren't in that line, the person who you just tried to sell it to would have had it. So that's kind of the view behind it. I understand when someone buys something, they sit on it becomes more valuable, and then they sell it. Okay, that's different than literally buying everything you can off the shelf specifically so no one else can have it, so you can sell it. I don't like that. You can have your own opinion on it, but I didn't. I think there's something wrong with it. A good example is that same person who would sell that triple to someone else, they wouldn't sell that to their friend or family. They're always like, oh, no, hey, I'll just give you this you can have it for free. Or I'll give it to you for this price, I got you. Because they feel there's something innately wrong with that, to do that to someone that they're close with. And one of my things I have to tell the students all the time is, if you're not okay telling your grandma something you're doing, don't do it. Okay? If you're too embarrassed to tell your grandmother, don't do it. Probably not a good idea. And so same thing on this. If you're not willing to sell that item at that price to your grandma, your nephew, your kid, your wife, don't sell it at that price. There's something wrong with it. Okay? If you're too embarrassed to sell that price to your friends because you think something's wrong, don't sell it to random people. Okay? That's just me. So I was like, okay, MSRP guarantee. This again, so we were selling boxes at MSRP. So Chilling Rain, we only got one box from the distributor, but I had a buddy who was selling at a store. He wanted to help me out, so he gave me basically, I think it was like whatever the freight credit card fees were from his distributor plus 1%, right? So I literally got them for like $83, $84 a booster box, and then sold them for MSRP. Okay. At that time, they were going for double that, right? Chilling Reigns was still selling for $180 and $190. Oh, no, that's not double, but $180 and $190. Double the wholesale price. So I was still selling for $144, and this is how we grew our ratings, our reviews, and then I worked my butt off, making sure I got things to people as quickly as possible. I was learning how to cut costs, and things really grew. And then I started seeing other holes in the market, I guess. I don't want to say the community, but more so in sellers and their market. I started seeing bad business practices. Things such as overselling pre-sales, knowing, for instance, when a store begins selling a booster box or item like 4 or 5 months out before the release, chances are they don't know how much they're receiving. They put orders in of how much they want, but the distributor hasn't told them how much they're getting yet. So they don't actually know how much they're getting, but they're taking people's money for it. And then I learned stores did that on purpose, specifically just to get a loan, right? Just so they have money to buy other product, and then if they have to just refund it, cool. It's a 3% loan, which is cheaper than anywhere else. And I was like, that's messed up. I actually had this person I was talking to get mad at me because we started doing $5 down pre-orders. They said I was hurting their business by doing that. And I was like, well, dude, you're like doing these pre-orders this far out, and you're purposely not giving refunds and making people wait for like 4 or 5 months because you oversold, making them wait for wave 2, which you don't know when it comes. And they go, well, that's just part of the card business. I'm like, you're mad at me because I won't rip off people. So I just started seeing things like that. And I'm like, there is a massive opportunity for one, for my business to grow, but two, to fulfill a need that's very needed in the industry. Now, there are fantastic stores out there, okay? PKM, Coliseum, Danny Phantom's Place, fantastic store. Josh's Cards, Keebs, I think I'm saying it right. I always want to say Khabib's, but that's a UFC fighter. I think it's Keebs. Fantastic store. That guy reached out to me on Reddit and just started talking to me because he knew I was new and started giving me advice and helped me through things. Fantastic guy. But there's tons of store. I'm actually an admin of a group on Facebook called Pokemon Collectors, not Club. Man, I'm blanking out. Pokemon Collectors Community. And we actually have a full list of stores I highly recommend. I tell people to go to all the time. That's not me. Because they also have great practices. So it's not just me who has great practices, okay? I don't want to sell you that that bill of sale. But I want to do more, right? Those are fantastic stores. I want to be better. Not because they're bad, but because I'm competitive, okay? Again, I used to fight for a living. I competed daily, all day, every day against 250-pound guys trying to punch me, kick me, and choke me. And I would try and do the same to them. I love that. I love the competition. You know what happens when we get done? We hug each other and we just brag about how the other person is, okay? There'll be guys that I beat 40 times a day, but I talk about how tough they are and how bad they like hurt my eye, how bad they ding me. And then there's people who beat me 100 times a day. People I never even beat, but they always talk about how tough I am. We do that because we're competitive. We go against each other. There's no ill will against one another. Same thing with me with these stores. I want to beat them. I want to overcome them. I want to become better than them. Not in a way of I want to put them down, but in a way of I want to do my very best. And because those stores I mentioned are so amazing, I know they will bring the best out in me. Okay, so that's what drives me. So one, I see these amazing stores like PKM Coliseum, Josh's Cards, Keebs, Zulu's is a pretty good store. I can name a bunch of them. Smoke and Mirrors. I see how good they do, and it makes me want to be better. Okay, and then I see stores that don't do good, and it makes me mad. I'm like, how can you treat your customers like that, and how are you successful? Right? And then I see people talk about them, and it's just like, wow, they don't actually think that's a bad business practice. They're not aware of how bad they're being ripped off. Kind of like how you guys probably still see stores that sell for well over MSRP while the market rate's well below. I saw stores lie to customers. I couldn't stand it. So I wanted to build a company based off honesty, openness, and any of you guys who have ever interacted with me, shot a message to me on Facebook, email. You know I'm as open as a book. I probably tell too much. Okay, I get people who message me. I'll sit there and explain how we're coming up with the numbers, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I just want to know if you had it in stock." Just send me an invoice. But I love that. So once we moved to North Carolina from Illinois, things just picked up. It exploded. In 1 month, we doubled what we did for an entire year. And then we proceeded to do that for the next 4 months, doubling each month. Okay. And then since then, it's been the same way. We've just been expanding dramatically. I never thought it'd get this big. I still have yet to take out any money from the business. It still all goes 100% back into the business. My wife got the job here in North Carolina, so pretty much she covers all the expenses. And in later videos when we talk about what I do, I will continuously say the only reason I probably have succeeded in this business thus far is because I don't have to rely on overhead, as in I don't have to pay electricity, I don't have to pay for, I don't have to take money out for food. I don't have to pay myself. Because I had an opportunity. I'm in a very lucky position. Not everyone can be in that position. So I see some stores who are like, oh, I want to, not stores, but some people, I'm going to sign up with a distributor. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start doing this right away. I'm like, whoa, no, don't do that right now. Open one, start working, but don't quit your job right now, okay? Work your butt off. I'm doing this 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. And I've been hustling like crazy, man, by how much we grow. And I still would not be able to afford to live on this yet. I will. Again, I could probably take the money out that we make in profit, but then there'd be no room to actually grow, right? To get bigger. I'd be the same size, which means we wanted to grow and I want to be able to make money. So we have pretty big plans for the business, but through that process, I actually learned, I love it. I love the competitiveness of owning a store. I love seeing customers are happy with what we've been doing, and then they're like, man, I've seen this and this going on with all these other stores, and I'm glad you're doing this. It makes me feel good. So one of our next steps is I want to get back to the helping children thing, right? So that's one of the next things we're gonna be launching on YouTube is I don't know if we're gonna be launching as a separate channel, launch it on here. I haven't decided yet, but what I call BulbaCards. We'll be using Pokemon and Pokemon stories to talk about character development, right? So it'd be like 80% Pokemon, and then kind of add in a little bit of a good example. This is how Pokemon and people live side by side, and then this is the importance of living side by side with your neighbor and how to be a good neighbor, right? Which I think is something that'd be great, because I don't want to only expand Pokemon cards to get more Pokemon cards in people's hands, because I loved it as a kid and I want them to love it, but I want to expand Pokemon to get all together, right? I want to be in that market as well. So I would love to have like a Pokemon Chuck E. Cheese, right? Where parents can drop their kids off once a week, not once a week, a couple times a week, to have good developmental lessons while enjoying Pokemon games, right? I keep saying over and over again to Lazardon, I'm going to dress him up in a giant Pikachu costume. Kids are going to chase him around with giant beach ball Pokeballs and pelt him with it, okay? Like, if you're a kid, you're walking down the road, you see that in a window, I don't care if you like Pokemon or not, you see that, you're like, I want to be part of that, that looks fun, I'm joining. And then they fall in love with Pokemon, okay? And then they get hooked on Pokemon cards, and I love Pokemon cards. And that's how you grow the hobby, okay? So that's my goal. I don't want to just sell Pokemon cards, I want to expand Pokemon, I want to expand the hobby. And I want to be competitive, and I want to win this, okay? I want to win the Card Shop Award one day. I don't think there is one. I'm going to get on that. I'm going to get with all the YouTubers. Card Shop Awards coming. BulbaCards is going to be a winner. So that's BulbaCards' origin, okay? As I said, we're going to continue this out in a series of diary entries on what we did as a business, specifically business methods on how we expanded, how we grew. A lot like, you see Danny Phantom did, but how we did it through COVID, and how we really pinched pennies to become successful during the time. It wasn't easy. It's still not easy. We're still struggling a lot. We're successful, but it takes a lot of effort, a lot of ingenuity, and I want to share that with you guys. So if you like this, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys can get the latest updates on the new diary entries that will be coming out, and comment down below on what your thoughts are, and let me know, have you ever thought about opening a Pokemon shop? Other than that, guys, I'm Elias from BulbaCards. Thank you guys for being part of this journey with me, and welcome to the Bulba family.